The day began with Joe Blanton matched up against the veteran Paul Byrd, and both turned in 6 innings worth of pitching today. In most cases, both pitchers had to get out of situations in which there were at least moderate threats, and in fact, Blanton in his 6 innings had 2 1-2-3 innings, and the other 4, a lot of base runners to deal with. When he left, he had thrown 100 pitches and was trailing 2-0. Byrd left after 6, leading 2-0. He'd thrown 104 pitches, and the A's had had hits in all but 1 inning, and they'd had base runners in every one of those 6 innings. But the scoring was infrequent. These pitching staffs are good at choking off threats. But there's one threat you can't choke off very easily, and that's Vladdy Guerrero, especially when he gets a 2-0 count and a pitch he likes, as he did leading off the 2nd. And the pitch. Guerrero hits a high drive to left field. That is going to travel some, and it is gone! A 2-0 pitch sent out of the yard in left center field by Vladimir Guerrero, and the Angels are up 1-0. Guerrero takes the tour for the 23rd time. He has 81 runs batted in, 2 homers and 6 driven in the series. Then in the 3rd inning, Blanton was called on to make some tough pitches because Adam Kennedy opened the inning with a double. Higgins beat out an infield hit, beating Blanton covering first base on a ground ball to the right side, putting runners at 1st and 3rd. And then Cabrera came up, trying to get that run home quickly.
Don't you sense a real crossroads for Joe Blanton right here, Ray, early in this game?
Absolutely, and the thing the A's need to do is stay close to Paul Byrd, because in the 2 games he faced the A's this year, he's pitched well early, but middle part of the game, he's given up runs.
Outfield a gap in left center as Blanton comes set. And Joe delivers, and it's swung on and driven to right center field. Long run coming from right. Swisher is there, makes the catch. Kennedy tags and holds, and Swisher fires the ball all the way to the plate. And that's out number 1. Nice play, closing ground in a hurry out in right field. Nick Swisher, the A's right fielder, racing toward right center, and Kennedy holding 3rd and Figgins holding at 2nd.
And buoyed by that, Blanton quickly got ahead of Darren Erstad 0-2.
Erstad hit 300 with runners in scoring position. Joe Blanton checks to get his side. Now ready. The Angels have runners at 2nd and 3rd. The 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Got it with a fastball, and that's out number 2. And now you walk Guerrero, don't you, Ray?
I think I'd take my chances with Casey Kochman. I don't care if he is left-handed. And already Jake McKenna with a hand out and 4 fingers pointing to first base.
And it should be noted the strikeout of Erstad was the only one of the day for Blanton, and it couldn't have been more important. Now with Guerrero on, loading the bases after the intentional walk, it was the rookie Casey Kochman.
Here's Kochman, a left-handed hitter, swinging in a ground ball down the first baseline fair, taken back to the bag by Johnson, and he goes to the bag, and Joe Blanton works out of a very ticklish spot in the top of the 3rd as the Angels leave the bases loaded, and after 2.5, it is 1-0 Athletics.
Got another challenge for Blanton in the 4th inning. Breaking out of an 0 for 14, Maiser Isturis doubled to right center field with 1 out and was still at second base with 2 out, and the veteran Adam Kennedy at the plate.
Blanton, first base side of the rubber. Checking with Kendall. Now ready, checks the runner at 2nd and comes to the plate with a 2-1 on the way. Breaking ball line to left center for a base hit. That's going to get through and go to the wall. Isturis can walk home as he scores from 2nd, and going to 2nd with a double is Adam Kennedy. He has 2 doubles today, and the Angels have a 2-0 lead. Well, Ray, you get a guy as good as Kennedy in the 9th spot in the batting order. That is such a weapon, such a bonus, really.
Yeah. Blanton then got Figgins on a sharp grounder to 3rd to end the inning and keep it at a 2-0 deficit. He had to fight off another threat in the 5th inning when he gave up a single to Cabrera and walked Erstad to start the inning. But fly balls off the bats of Guerrero, and then a force out off the bat of Kochman, and a fly ball by Finley got him out with no further damage, and then he finished up his stint with a 1-2-3-6. The A's had hits in all those innings against Byrd, but very seldom had anything resembling a threat. They had 1st and 2nd in the 3rd inning with 1 out, and that was about the most serious threat they had. They had 1st and 2nd with 2 out in the 5th. And in the 6th, a single with in the leadoff slot by Dan Johnson, his 3rd hit of the day, gave promise, but Kelty then hit into a force out, and then it was a strike him out, throw him out double play, and the A's once again were frustrated in an effort to come back against the Angels. But the game escalated in intensity and for the A's in production in the 7th inning when Brendan Donnelly came in as the first of the relievers for the Angels. But before that, Joe Kennedy had taken over for the A's in the 7th for Blanton and got into immediate trouble on a Figgins double. Figgins then was out on a ground ball back to the mound in which they ran down Figgins, but Cabrera, who hit the grounder, wound up at second base. He wound up at third on Erstad's infield out, bringing up Guerrero. And what else? Guerrero was going to be put on intentionally, and he was. First and third. Then when Benji Molina, in a pinch hitting role for Kotzman, went to 3-1, he was given the intentional ball 4, giving the veteran and somewhat slump-ridden Steve Finley a chance to get something done.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cabrera at third. Guerrero at second. Benji Molina at first. Kennedy staring into Kendall now with a side. Here's the set. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on line down the right field line for a base hit, and that's going to go to the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes Guerrero to score. Benji Molina chugs into third on a double down the right field line by Steve Finley, and now it's 4-0 Angels.
Got the slider, didn't miss it. And he might have been looking slider the entire time.
Well, when Donnelly came in now in the bottom of the 7th, he had that nice 4-run cushion facing Jay Payton, who was all geared up.
4 runs, 8 hits Angels, no runs, 8 hits for the A's. Donnelly is 6-3 this season. His pitch to Jay Payton is ripped to left center field, way back. Finley at the track. He's going to watch, and the A's are on the board. Jay Payton smokes one to left center field on the first pitch thrown by Brendan Donnelly in the bottom of the 7th inning. Angels 4, Athletics 1. Welcome to the ball game, Brendan.
Hopes rose quickly when Ellis and Kendall stuck singles back-to-back to put runners at first and second, and they wound up at second and third on Kotze's ground ball out. And with 1 out, Bobby Crosby was the hitter. But the hopes sagged suddenly when Crosby was dispatched on 3 pitches by Donnelly as a strikeout victim, leaving it all up to Eric Chavez, who swung and missed the first pitch.
Boy, the Coliseum right now just aching to rock. Donnelly, a long look at Molina. Chavez waiting, waves the wood a couple of times. Now he's ready. Donnelly's ready. And here's the 0-1 pitch. And it's swung on and ripped to right. Way back. No doubt. 5-ball game. How do you like that? A 3-run shot by Eric Chavez. And suddenly, in the bottom of the 7th, A's 4, Angels 4. His 20th. And they're rocking now at the old yard in Oakland.
And for some reason, just had a feeling that Eric Chavez is going to get into a fastball from Brendan Donnelly. He did. It was perfect. Donnelly knew it, and so did Chavez.
But listen to the fans at the Coliseum as Eric Chavez with 1 swing has taken this from a 4-1 ball game to a 4-4 ball game after 7.
The relievers prevailed in the 8th inning. Justin Duxer put up a 1-2-3 frame, and Scott Shields in the bottom of the 8th did the same to the A's. Then in the top of the 9th, after getting 2 outs, Duxer ran into a little trouble. It was a tactical move that paid off for the A's in the end. They didn't want to risk trying to pitch around Vladdy Guerrero and making a mistake. He was walked intentionally. Then in a careful pitching performance against Benji Molina, and an intense at-bat for the DH, Molina got behind 0-2 and eventually drew a 3-2 pitch for ball 4, putting runners at first and second, all the while Guerrero having stolen second during that at-bat. So now it came down to Finley, who had delivered a devastating blow with that double in the 7th inning. Finley waves the bat for a moment. Now the 0-1 delivery coming. Swung on as a high pop-up. Shallow center. Out is Ellis. Calling for it, and has it. And so, the Angels stall the runners aboard. 2 men are left. We go to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 4-4. Ellis banged his 3rd hit of the game, a single up the middle against Shields to start that night, but Kendall, in bunting, trying to sacrifice, bunted pretty hard, and Shields turned it into a force out at second base. Kotze, though, hit the first pitch up the middle, and that put runners at first and second and sent the call to the ace closer, Frankie Rodriguez, K-Rod, to come on from the bullpen and face Bobby Crosby, which he did. He got Crosby on a force out at second. The relay to first was wide, and Erstad made a great catch of a bouncing throw by Kennedy to save the possibility of the A's winning it right there. So with runners at first and third, Chavez was the hitter, and of course the whole speculation was, what are they going to do with him? Chavy's up, a base is open, you got Dan Johnson, a rookie, on deck. Because Jose Molina is a very, very good catcher at blocking the ball.
But not an 85-mile-an-hour hard slider, a curveball in the dirt. That can be very tough for a catcher.
No, Black jogging back to the dugout.
Discussion more likely from Bud Black, more of a situation with the A's. Of course, Bobby Crosby not being held at first. And if they allow him to go, then Chavez, Eric would be intentionally walk more likely to face Dan Johnson.
Because they can pitch around him anyway.
Exactly.
They'd rather take their chances with Dan Johnson. Because they've got a base open, and the only runner who means anything is over at third base. That's Kendall. First pitch, there goes the runner from first, Bobby Crosby down to second uncontested. Defensive indifference. Now the ball gets away behind the runner and full back. Coming home to score is Jason Kendall, and on a freak play, the Athletics have won the game and the series. You would not believe it. On the throw from Jose Molina back to the pitcher, the ball got loose. He went scrambling towards second base to run it down. Alertly at third, Kendall broke for the plate, slid in with a winning run, and that is one for the books. Holy Toledo. Everybody standing in shock and mostly joy, the exceptions being, of course, those who are of the Angel persuasion.
You know, I think what happened is that Rodriguez was upset that he didn't get the call.
Exactly right, Ken, and he just reached down, tried to grab the ball, went off the edge of his glove, and Kendall so alertly took off and scored ahead of the throw.
Rodriguez was staring at the plate umpire and didn't move and didn't react as he was upset that he didn't get the call.
It's going to be an error on Rodriguez. The A's will take it any way they can get it. What a wild, bizarre ending.
Well, we've seen that kind of an ending with a different... I'm looking at the replay right now.
Yeah, he put his glove on his hip and just kind of reached down.
Yeah, it was very casual.
Yeah, like out of how could you not call that kind of thing? And then he didn't go after the ball.
Well, this brings to mind the game the A's won here in April.
That's right.
On Scott Shields' throwaway of the sacrifice bunt.
That also was an E1. This is an E1 on Rodriguez. And what a comeback. The A's lost the opener of the series. Big win last night. Scored in the seventh, and the same this afternoon to take the tie and then win it. And Frankie Rodriguez throw and then sat down and watched in disgust as Jason Kendall scored, and what a bizarre ending.
And the only object of his disgust will be himself.
Exactly.
I can't think of anything more to add to all of that.